Good evening, everyone. Thanks, grace of heaven, virtues of masters, grand predecessors, transmitters, and lecturers for giving me this opportunity to learn to speak on today's topic, karma and six paths of reincarnation. Okay, so what is karma? Karma is the law of causality, um, the law of nature. So according to the principle, the thoughts that we projected will return to us, whether it's good or bad thoughts. In order to get what we want, we have to prove that we are worthy of these things. Essentially, we reap what we sow. Everything that everything that we encounter in life, there is a cause behind it. So like attract likes. If we would expect others, then others will respect us back. Our thoughts and actions attracts the people and matters in our life. Performing good deeds result in good rewards. Committing evil deeds will suffer in its retribution. Every action has a reaction. So if we hit somebody, and we therefore every action has a reaction, and we can choose what kind of reaction we want to give back. So such as if we hit somebody, or if somebody hit us, we have choice to whether we should hit back or to walk away or to harbor a hatred heart for future revenge. The choice is up to us. And then there's cause and condition. All phenomena arise from cause and condition. We plant the seeds of cause in order to reap the fruits. It will depend on the amount of sun, water, and the condition of the soil. So if we plant the seeds in the future, it might not actually, germinate. It depends on the conditions. So when the condition meets, then the karma will appears. If hundreds, hundreds of thousands of eons pass, all the karmas we have accumulated will not perish. When the conditions are met, one has to bear its karmic conditions and retributions. So all phenomena are empty because it doesn't last. It's constantly changing. But the law of causality is not empty. The reason is being is that the cause and effects it intertwines continuously. It follows us life after life. There's also a saying that when we leave, I think the Chinese word saying that 万般带不走，唯有业随身哈, meaning that when we leave this world, we cannot bring anything with us except our karmic debts and merits. We cannot bring our fame, our fortunes, our social status, nor our loved ones. Only our karmic debts and merits. So to understand the law of causality, to understand how the law of causality works, we have to understand the 12 links of dependent origination. The first one is ignorance. So when we have an ignorance, that means we have a thought. And when we have a thought, one thought is the cycle of reincarnations. And one thought can intertwine with 1,000 thoughts. And when we have a thought, we want to act upon it, upon that thought. That was volition, this one. And then consciousness. And when we want to act upon it, our soul, our consciousness, or in the Buddhism was a 中阴身, is the intermediate stage of body or in between body, or we can call it our soul, will incarnate to find a parents that we have affinity with. There's 4 types of karmic affinity to form a family, to repay kindness, gratitude, to repay grievance, to collect a debt, or to pay back a debt. Without these affinities, we will not meet nor become a family or friends. So once the soul finds the parents, and then the baby will stay in the parents' womb, the mother's womb. And that is name and form. That is when the fetus is about 2 to 3 weeks. The form is the body, and the name is the 4 of the 5 skandhas. They're such as feelings, possession, mental formations, and emotions. That's when the fetus start having these skandhas. And then when the fetus is about 5 to 6 months old, the 6 roots, which are our eyes, nose, ears, tongue, body, and minds, all start forming. When they're in the mother's stomach about 9.5 months or Chinese call it 10 months, then the mother has carried to the full terms and the baby is born. When the baby is born, they have contact with the outside world. And then when they have the outside world, they start having feelings, such as why the baby cries. They have because they're hungry, or their diaper is wet, or when somebody hold them uncomfortably, and then they will cry. So they have that feelings. And then when they like someone, like something, they have the desires, craving. They're craving for food, craving for love. And then when they crave for it, they were grasping, clinging to it. They will want it. Or if they don't like it, then they will try to push away from it. And then once they cling on it, they will become that becoming. Becoming is the karma. And once they have the karma, which direct them to the next life, they were born and age and death again. So. Okay. The 12 link of dependent origination link together our past, present, and future lives. It means that the law of causality extends across at least 3 lifetimes. The seed of cause that we planted in the past life affect the present life. How we handle the matters in the present lives will affect our future lives. Our thoughts, intentions, actions generates a karma, which will have the consequence in the future lives, either positive or negative, depending on our conduct and mentality. Therefore, we should cultivate our virtuous behaviors and mindsets in this present life to accrue positive karmas and ultimately break free from this cycle of reincarnation. So some people will say, oh, how come this wealthy people, rich people, and they did a lot of bad deeds, but then like how come they still living a very wealthy life? In the law of causality is like is no retribution goes unpaid. Just matter of time. It's a matter of the time that when they get paid. Some karma retributions will get paid in this present life. For example, someone commit a crime and they get arrested right away in this lifetime, or such as we go to work and we get paid, or so a person can change his life by performing a lot of good deeds. And only way to, I guess, the fortune teller can predict our life very well because we humans our mindset is within that norm. Sometimes we have good thoughts, sometimes we have bad thoughts, sometimes we commit good deeds, and sometimes we commit bad deeds. And 2 people that fortune teller cannot predict is those who committed great good deeds or a lot of evil deeds. Then they are off the chart, off the norms. Those those are people also, they fortune teller cannot predict correctly, accurately. And then some retribution is we had to pay back in the next life, such as the deeds that we perform in this lifetimes will be rewarded, and punishment or punished in the next life. Doing good deeds will be rewarded with blessings, while indulging in the three poisons of anger, greed, and ignorance will lead to suffering in the lower realms in the next life. And also, some deeds we had to pay back either many lives later or help us later. Such as if a person committed crime, but he started cultivating diligently. As he cultivated diligently, he was protected by guardian angels, and therefore his debt collectors cannot get close to him nor take revenge. Then one day, if he gets slapped off or he become arrogant as people praise him, then his guardian angels will leave him. Then his debt collectors can take his revenge. So these are three types of karma that either it happens in this lifetime, next lifetime, or many lifetimes later. But we still have to pay back. So karma is what we sow in our past life, like X deeds we saw in X consequence. Okay, if we sow a seed of apple, we reap apples. We sow a seed of orange, we reap orange. We cannot sow a seed of apples and reap orange, or vice versa. They're saying to know one's past karmic cause, observe the current circumstances and experience. To know what's our future holds, observe what's one does in this present life. So everything, just to know what we did in the past, just look at our current life. Whether we are suffering, whether we are like people that we met, the family that we are born, that's all because the seeds that we planted in our past lives. Now, if we want a better life, of course, as a Dao cultivator, we want to break through that cycle of reincarnation. But if we want a better life, we need to do more good deeds to pay back our debts. So it's all the power of now, what we do right now. The cultivation is to get rid of our temperaments and bad habits, which have accumulated for over 600 years, 60,000 years. These temperaments are not our true self. Therefore, we have to let go. Cultivation is peeling off the layers of our false self to discover our true self. So we can change our face through cultivation. And then there is individual or collective karma. The individual karma is the individual actions, words, thoughts of a single person, small boat, such as each of us has a different families, different parents, different children, different jobs, wealth, social status. So these are all individual karma. And then collective karma is that collective action, words, thoughts that which benefits or affects a group of people, such as a city, a society, association, a company, or humanity as whole. So such as if a country go to the war, and then even though if we're not involved in that war, but we did benefit from that war, then we have that collective karma with that country. So And this, I'm sure a lot of people saw this chart. So after we receive Tao, we can return to this permanent heaven. In this permanent heaven, there is our Heavenly Mother, all the sentient beings, the enlightened sentient beings, sentient Buddhas. This is our permanent heaven is our original home. Okay, and then there is Samsara. This is temporary heavens, hell, and earth. Earth is where the humans and animals resides. Okay, and then hell and temporary heaven. After we receive Tao, we can uplift our ancestors. And then temporary heavens, they can find someone in the human realms, somebody to uplift them too, if they have a deep affinity with. Okay. So after we see Tao, we have to know that if we don't do any bad deeds, evil deeds, then we can return to this permanent heavens. And of course, we need to remember the three treasures too. Okay, and here is the sixth path of reincarnation. Actually, there is 10 realms. Okay, there are 4 noble realms which they all break free from their reincarnation. There are arhats realms, and it's Chinese called 原子. It's cause awakened ones, and then Bodhisattva and Buddhas. Those beings, they don't have to reincarnate. They can go anywhere they want. And then there is these 6 paths. We are stuck in the cycle of reincarnation if we do not cultivate and become enlightened. There's diva beings, there are humans, there are asuras, and then 3 lower paths: animals, pretas, and hell. Celestial beings are diva deities. They are those who perform good deeds in their previous lives, and perhaps they were cultivators, but they did not attain enlightenment or did not receive Tao. In this realm, they tend to enjoy their blessings, and they probably do not forget to cultivate, and they didn't accumulate many merits, nor perform any good deeds. Then once their blessings are depleted, once they use up their blessings, they must report to the underworld and undergo the reincarnations. They have to report to the underworld after their blessing is used up. And human realms, Buddha told us that it's best to born as a human body, to be as humans. It's a precious, because as a humans, we have a chance to cultivate and become enlightened. Once we lose this human bodies, we might not get it back for 10,000 of kalpas. Therefore, while we have this human body, we should cultivate diligently to break free from the cycle of reincarnations. And then there's asura. Asura are those who were cultivators, but they haven't get rid of their temperaments. They have their anger, impatient, envy, and arrogance. The asuras, they like to fight over everything that, such as power, fame, and status. And then there's lower realms, animal realms. There are 4 types of animals. They're born in the 4 forms. Some are wombs, like dogs, cows, horse, eggs, chicken, duck, turtle, water beings, sea creatures, fish, lobsters, and then the insects, ants, mosquitoes. The smaller the insects, the more scattered these souls will be, such as ants. It will take them like 100 or more to form a one complete soul. And the smaller of these insects, the more ignorance they has become. They have strayed further from the truth. Okay. Yeah, that's because they have false views, ignorance, and foolishness. And Preta, the Preta beings are hungry ghosts. When they, in their previous life, they were either they are greedy or steal or wasteful. Okay. Like when we are alive, if we are not willing to give to other people's, but very, very wasteful with our food, such as we eat and did not finish our food and threw it away, or we get greedy and commit like stealing others people's stuff. Buddha told us that if everything we brought over in this, everything we have in this life is brought over from our previous life. If we obtain these wealth by evil deeds, evil ways, then our wealth will be discounted. Okay, so if someone who steal and they obtain this wealth, it's because they earn it from their previous life, but then because they attain it in an illegal way, their wealth will be discounted. And for the hungry ghosts, they can never get they're always hungry and their throat is very narrow. Everything they eat burn their throats and they cannot never be full. And then hell realms, when they're always angry or even commit killing. So ignorance, greed, and anger is our path to the lower realms. For the hell realms, there's 18 levels. And Buddha told us because how the 18 level comes about is 6 roots plus 6 sense objects and 6 consciousness that forms 18 levels of hell realm. Okay. So we have to know that we are the creators of our fate, of our destiny. And I think most people might not believe, and they blame like the others why their life turned out this way. But we are the creators. And Liao Fan, 4 Lessons is the best example. It's a true story that he changed his life for the better. So this story, Liao Fan lives in the Ming Dynasty, 1533 to 1606, and he wrote this Liao Fan 4 Lessons for this book for his son Yuan Tianci. So when he was young, he encountered this very famous fortune teller, Mr. Kong, who calculated and the prediction of Mr. Yuan's whole entire life. And for 20 years, about 20 years, every prediction that Mr. Kong predicted came true, such as that when he gonna get promoted after, like he get promoted after we see salaries of 91 dan and 5 dou of the rice. That's just a measurement of in the old days how he for his pay. And then he will die at age of 53 years old around 1 a.m. in the morning on the August 14th, and he will have no son. So that's just one of the 3 I mean, many petitions, but yeah, but these are the very important ones. Okay, so Yuan Liao Fan, his original name was Kun Yi, and then his name was Yuan Huan. Later on, he changed his name to Yuan Liao Fan, is to meaning that will transcend the ordinary. And then in this book, there's 4 lessons: how to create destiny, the ways to reform, the ways to cultivate kindness, and the benefits of virtue of humility. So one day, Yuan Liao Fan went to a trip for government trip and then he happened to pass this temple called ZhiShan. So his friend recommended that he should come to this temple and meet this Zen master Yungu. So he went there, and this master Yungu was happened to meditate uh, there. So he didn't want to disturb him, so he sat with him for 3 days and 3 nights. And then Master Zhang was surprised and thinking that he's like out of ordinary, that he has cultivated himself to a certain level. So he asked him, why he was able to sit with him for 3 days and 3 nights. And then Mr. Yuan explained it to him that because this fortune teller, Mr. Kong, told him that has predicted his whole life. So even though if he wants something, he cannot change it. So then Master Yungu laughed and thought, and then realized that he was just an ordinary person. And then he told him, an average person's mind is occupied with wondering and false thoughts. And these thoughts is clouded our Buddha nature, prevent us from seeing the truth. Okay. So he told us that basically he should calm our heart and mind to see the truth. And then he told him that one can change one's fate by performing great deeds, wholesome, or evil deeds, unwholesome. We create our own fate, good or bad. Fortune is good or bad fortune is determined by ourselves. So we are the creators of our fate, and therefore we can change our fate. So he said, Master Yungu also told him that merit accrues can actually change one's destiny from suffering to happiness, poverty to prosperity, and the short life to longevity. Similarly, fate cannot bind those who commit great evil. If one cannot self-reflect within his own heart, but instead blindly seek fame, fortune, and longevity from the external sources, then this seeking will be in vain. The sixth patriarch, Huinan, said, all the fields of merit are within one's own heart. If one seeks from within, one can be in touch with all good fortunes and disasters. The outside is merely a reflection of inside. So our surroundings is like the mirror of our heart, inner heart and mind. By seeking within ourselves, we are not only attain the inner quality of virtue, kindness, and morality, but we can also attain wealth, fame, and prestige. So if we cannot reflect within our own hearts, but instead blindly seek for fame, fortunes, and longevity for external seekings, then this seeking is in vain. Then he goes, Mr. Liao Fan, he did the way to change his life. He self-reflects. He was So he looked at himself within, and he said he was impatient, he was intolerant, he's undisciplined, and he spoke without any restraint. A strong sense of pride and arrogance overguarded his reputation and cannot sacrifice anything for the sake of others. Obsessed with cleanliness, talk too much would waste his energy, qi. Delighted in drinking alcohol that depleted his spirits, stay up late at night and not conserve his energies. So this is why he said all that stuff because Mr. Yungu asked him like, do you think you deserve imperial like higher position of government member, or do you deserve a son? And then he did some self-reflect and came up with these answers. And he said that he doesn't think he would deserve a son, is that he said that he's overly attached to cleanliness, result in the lack of thoughtfulness to others. Okay. Then Master Yungu advised Mr. Liao Fan that cultivate virtue, tolerance, and to treat others with compassion and harmony. Take good care of his health and conserve his energies and spirits. Live as though everything of the past dissolved yesterday, and all the futures begins today. Cultivate diligently. So Master Yungu also told him that bearing a children is similar to bear fruits from the seeds. If the seeds are planted well, the fruits will flourish. If the seeds are not planted well, then the fruits will become malnutrition. And then Mr. Liao Fan also repents for wrongdoing, all of his wrongdoings, and he wrote down his wishes, vowed to complete meritorious deeds, a charge to keep his daily records of wholesome and unwholesome deeds, recites mantras to keep his heart and mind pure and scatters. So he make his wife volunteer to. His wife doesn't know how to read. She's illiterate, so she would put a circle in a book if he committed bad deeds, and then or have a bad thoughts, and then he make another mark, and if he did a good deed. So in the beginning, it's kind of like more of the bad deeds that he committed, but slowly over time, that he has performed more good deeds. So in the first time, he make a vow to make 3,000 good deeds. Okay, he vowed to perform 3,000 good deeds, and then after that 3,000 good deeds, the second year, his first imperial exam, in which Mr. Kong, the fortune teller, has predicted in third place, but amazingly, he came in as the first place. So as soon as he performed this 3,000 good deeds, the following year, the prediction of the fortune teller, Mr. Kong, become inaccurate. And then Mr. Kong also predicted him that he would not pass the imperial exam at all, but that autumn he did. And that was after the second 3,000 good deeds. Then he also make another. He become very confident of these good deeds, so he make 10,000 good deeds. Okay, and then but because he was he was so busy, so caught up with like government jobs. He was so caught up with his jobs that he thought he doesn't have time to perform these 10,000 good deeds. But there was like a drought, so farmers were having a hard time harvesting the goods. So he cut the tax. And then one night he dreamed this master Huan Yu told him that when doing kind deeds, one must be true and sincere, not seek any rewards or act with falsity. If one does a good deed with a kind deed with such true and sincere heart, then one deed can indeed be worth of the merits for 10,000 kind deeds. Besides, your act of reducing the tax in this province benefits more than 10,000 people. You have released the sufferings of heavy tax on all these farmers. The good fortune you will gain from this act will surely be great. Therefore, he thought he didn't have time to perform the 10,000 good deeds, but because of his sincere kind acts for cutting the tax, that he has fulfilled his 10,000 good deeds. And then at the end, because of all these good deeds that he performed in this lifetime, and in this lifetime, he was able to pass. The fortune teller predicted that he will only have the lower rank of the of government official position, but then he passed a higher level of the imperial exams and became a mayor, and then he had a son and lived up to age of 74. And then original prediction was 53, I believe. So he extended his life 21 years without any illness. So this is to show us that we can change our fate through cultivation. Even though I think Mr. Liao Fan's, what his blessing is, it's just a mundane blessing, but we shouldn't seek for the mundane blessings. We should seek for the higher blessings, such as return to break through this sixth path of reincarnation and return to our original home, which is absolute heaven. Sorry. Okay. And then in the end, he said, at the end of the book, he said he said to his son, so in any case of the destiny, we should always prepare for the worst. Therefore, even in the time of prosperity, act as if you were not, and when things are going your ways, be mindful of adversity. When you are wealthy, be mindful of poverty. And when you love and respected by all, remain careful and conservative. When the family is greatly respected and revered, carry yourself humbly. When your learning is broad and deep, always think of it as slight and keep it humbly within. So we should always be humble. Yeah. Here's some conclusion. So we know that all the phenomena are empty, but the causality is not empty. The causality, the cause can turn into effect, and the effect can turn into the future life's cause. So it goes in the circles, life after life. So that is not empty. The Bodhisattvas fears planting the seeds of karma because Bodhisattvas or enlightened beings, they don't want to entangle in this cycle of reincarnation and then encounter sufferings. But then ordinary people, we are very ignorant and we commit the sins, and then we only fear for the result. We fear for the punishments. So we don't know that how to start from the beginning, not cause any karma. The cause plus condition equals karma. So when there's a cause, we need that condition to manage the karma. So what we can do is change that condition, how we react to that condition, how we act toward. We should, no matter what kind of affinity we encounter, we should always use our virtue to resolve it. So, and it also tells us that destiny is changeable. We can change our destiny through cultivation. We can perform good deeds and then cultivate ourselves to become a virtuous person. Only those two can pay off our debt, pay off our karmic debts. Okay. Okay. So in order to do that, we have to cease the killings. If we want to know why there's a war, so many wars in this world, it's because just look at the killings in the slaughterhouse or the supermarket. And then we should not steal. We should not have a false, deceptive speech. We should not lie to others and cause harm to others. We should not have any sexual misconduct. There is saying that filial piety for most is among all the good deeds, and then indulge in the lust or sexual misconduct is a lead to all evils. So yeah, and then there's no intoxicants. Many crimes are committed because one is drunk or doing the drugs, such as drinking and driving. And many, if we go to parties, and some people might put something in the drink and then cause this person to doing the bad deeds. Yeah. So we should always perform the 10 wholesome or good deeds. No killing, no stealing, no adultery, lust, sexual misconduct, no false speech, no slandering, no harsh speech, no idle talk, no greed, no hatred, no resentments, or no illusions or ignorance. To have no illusion or ignorance, we have to understand to be here now, be aware of what we're doing, be aware of our thoughts. Okay. And we should perform the 10 meritorious deeds, such as giving. We can give in the form of dharma, teaching others to do good. We can give in the form of, giving our wealth, and also give our time. But giving we're not really losing anything. Giving, teaching others people to good shall gain wisdom. Giving in the form of donation of our wealth will gain wealth in our future life. Or giving to help other people, in return, we have a better health. And then precepts or moralities. Meditation, mental cultivations. Respect, reverence, serving others, transferring dedicate merits. So we can dedicate our merits to our friends and families, our ancestors, our loved ones, rejoicing in the merits of others, be happy that other people earn merits, teaching the dharmas, teach others the true principles. Listening to the dharma. Okay, listening to dharma is so that we don't stray away from the truth. We don't stray and commit evil deeds, and correcting one's view by self-reflecting. Here's 10 unwholesome evil deeds. So we should not commit all these these killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, false deceptions, slander, coarse, false, foul, harsh speech, empty talk, envy, greed, rage, anger, wrong view, or ignorance. So we should also be aware of our eight consciousness: our eyes, nose, ears, tongues, body, heart, and minds. And then there's more last, menace, and then alaya. Okay, so because we tend to use our eyes, nose, these 6 roots to encounter with the sixth sense, and then create that sixth consciousness, and then that's how we differentiate. And when we differentiate, that's right, there's like sixth consciousness is to differentiate what we see, what we smell, what we hear, what we taste. We should not differentiate, because that differentiation will cause karma. And then that menace is the intention, attachment, that me, ego, we are attached to certain, when we see the forms, we're attached to it, all the forms, or yeah. And then our heart and mind, that's a alaya. Everything, it is the delusional thoughts. So it's the foundations of the sixth consciousness. So in our daily life, we should not use we should not differentiate, attach, or have the delusional thoughts. We should always calm our heart and mind. Like Lecturer Liu said, let go of all thoughts and don't let go of all affinity, don't let one thought arise. That means, it doesn't mean that we're checked out. We're just aware of what we see, but we do not add in the flavors such as differentiation and then cling on to it or have these delusional thoughts. So we should always be mindful of what we're doing right now at this moment. Like Holy Teacher said, be mindful of our thoughts, for they lead to words. Words lead to actions. Action develops into habits, and habit defines our character. Character determines our destiny. So every day we should practice that, so we don't fall into this, we don't create karmas. We should always do everything from our Buddha nature, perform the virtuous acts, so we don't fall into this sixth path of reincarnation and then post life and afterlife. Yeah, that concludes my presentation for tonight. If I have said anything wrong, I ask Saint Buddhas for forgiveness, and transmitters lectures for your correction. Thank you.